If you're looking for a recipe that will use up your very ripe bananas, but maybe you're a little tired of making banana bread, spice things up with this double-layered banana crumb cake. This is a delicious dessert that I have made for my friends, family, even the staff at the dentist office I go to, and it always leaves everybody smiling. And you can easily divide this recipe up into 2 loaf pans instead of the 8x8 baking dish that I use, and then that way you have one for you, and then one to give away. Oh, and save those banana peels. At the end of this video, I'll show you an easy way to make banana peel tea. Not for humans, for your garden. Banana peel tea is actually a great way to get your banana peel tea is a great way to give your plants a nutrient boost. So let's start by making the cinnamon crumb topping, which, let's face it, this is the best part. In a bowl that is larger than the one that I chose, mix together flour, I'm using wheat flour, but all-purpose will work, brown sugar, and if you want to know how I make my own brown sugar, this is my very complicated recipe, with some regular sugar, and then mix it together with the cold cubes of butter. I went with Miyoko's butter again, and I froze it for about 10 minutes or so while I was setting up. And then casually add the cinnamon like you remembered it the whole time. And set that bowl aside while we start working on the dry ingredients for the batter, which of course calls for more flour. And again, I'm using more wheat flour, as well as baking powder, cinnamon, because we're gonna remember this time, and some salt. Now mash up your ripe bananas. You can use 3 or 4 medium-sized bananas. Now cream together even more butter. I told you this was gonna be delicious. With even more sugar. Then add some applesauce. Unsweetened, sweetened, it probably doesn't really matter. I mean, this recipe is like 90% sugar. What am I worried it's gonna be too sweet? Come on. And a dash of vanilla. Give it a good mix and then mix in the mashed up bananas. Now, combine the wet and dry ingredients and mix until evenly incorporated. See any banana or butter lumps? Who cares? Now I use the butter wrapper to grease an 8x8 baking dish, but of course you could use 2 loaf pans instead. First I poured in half of the batter, then with clean hands, layered on half of the cinnamon crumbs. Then carefully pour on the rest of the batter and layer it evenly with a spatula, being careful not to intermingle the layers too much. Finally, top the cake with the rest of the crumbs. And if you have any crumbs left over, just use them on toast. Bake the cake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about an hour. But if you can stick a knife in the middle of the cake and it comes out clean, you know it's ready. Just let it cool a little bit before serving. Then go to town. Downtown. Downtown, get your cake and your crown. And now, as promised, the banana tea recipe, which again is not for human drinking, but for plant drinking. Does that make sense? I don't know. Take your banana peels and put them in a mason jar and fill with water. Allow to steep for 24 to 48 hours, then strain and use to water your garden. And then you can compost the banana peels, or use them as a prop in your comedic sketch. And the recipe shown today required nothing to go to landfill. The applesauce jar will be reused and everything else will get composted. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a great day. See you next week.